and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Saturday, and you do know what that means by now. It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, and we got a ton of stuff to cover once again this week as we ramp up a trip to San Diego for San Diego Comic-Con. I do expect the next couple of weeks to be a little bit slower in the toy news department, as a lot of places saving a lot of the stuff, of course, for San Diego Comic-Con. I think even Marvel Legends team came on Twitter, old Dan out there, said it's going to be a little quiet the next couple of weeks as we prepare for San Diego Comic-Con, so we should have all kinds of stuff, all kinds of videos here in a couple of weeks about San Diego Comic-Con. As you guys know, I will be there, boots on the ground, checking it all out. So much more to come from San Diego, a lot of news, a lot of videos to come from that trip, I'd have to imagine. But let's dive into this week's news. But first, before we do that, we got some housekeeping to do, and we got to hit up the old Patreon first. Thanks to every Patreon member out there. The June giveaway, I'll have that video up on Patreon here in the next couple of days, so we'll be on the lookout for that, see who wins. But that does bring us to the July giveaway for Patreon members. In July, we're giving away Ultimate Edition Seth Rollins. That will be the July giveaway on the Patreon. Head on over to the Patreon channel, link in the description below. Sign up, check it out, see what's going, see what all the fuss is about. So we got that going on. And then another thing going on this weekend, it is 4th of July weekend. A special shout out to the 4th of July for those that celebrate, if you're in America, I guess. But a lot of people getting some time off work. Hopefully you are at least getting to have a barbecue, that kind of thing. Check out some fireworks, stuff like that. Unfortunately, old me, you know me, this is my busy time of year in my regular job, so I'm working around the clock right now. I just had a little bit of a window on Friday afternoon from 1 to 2 where I could knock this video out. That's what we're doing. That's what happens when you're like a young James Brown out there, fighting the good fight, trying to be the hardest working man in YouTube. You got to squeeze videos in where you can get them. That's what we're doing here today with the toy news. But a big weekend, of course, 4th of July. But as of I'm filming this on Friday, it's a special birthday. Yes, it is. Now, last week was my birthday, of course. Thank you, everybody, for the well wishes for my birthday. Always appreciate that. The weekend before that, old outlaw Waylon Jennings. It was Waylon Jennings' birthday, as we do know. So you had Waylon's birthday, then my birthday. Now did we get to the main event? As Friday, like I said, as I'm filming this, it is the legendary Terry Funk's birthday this week. Or on Friday, I guess we'll say it there. Old Terry Funk living his best life. Of 79, I believe Terry Funk is now. My all-time favorite, you guys know him and the Ultimate Warrior, neck and neck. But I always say, you know, as a total wrestler, the total package, there's no beating Terry Funk. Warrior had that kid nostalgia, the kid love of wrestling, larger-than-life character. You absolutely loved it. Terry Funk, you had your uncle that was ready to go to battle every single day. Definitely two different dynamics, but definitely my two favorite wrestlers of all time. So got to celebrate Terry Funk's birthday. No better way to do that than, of course, Pro Wrestling Tees this weekend has a big 20% off sale. Head over to Pro Wrestling Tees, pick up a Terry Funk t-shirt. They're 20% off. You got to support the man, the myth, the legend, the Terry Funk. And then while you're over there, you can pick up one of my t-shirts. Search the old Kyle Peterson store. You got to get a deal over there, or what are we doing? Of course, the famed Rio shirt, Turtle Anxiety, a lot to pick from over there. Support the channel, pick up a t-shirt, or support the legendary Terry Funk. You got to do one or the other. Got to do one or the other. Either way, you win at the end of the day. So there is the housekeeping. Now let's get into the toy news this week. And not a ton of stuff, but a little bit of blurbs pretty much from everything. I guess as far as wrestling goes, the big blurb was here very early Friday morning in America's time. But over in the UK, old Bill McKenna, old good friend of the channel, Bill McKenna, I'll see him in a couple of weeks, San Diego Comic-Con, I do assume. But Bill is over there at the UK Wrestle Shop, and he was promoting some different Elite lines, Ultimates, Basics, all that kind of stuff, and was there for an appearance and some figure debuts, some line debuts. We're going to break that down right here today. Now, we did do a Mattel Reveals video on the channel this week. Check out that video if you missed it, talking about all the WWE.com reveals for the month of June. But now we got a few more, and I guarantee we'll be seeing these same figures plus some at San Diego Comic-Con here in a couple of weeks. But Bill did show off Elite 104. We did see Solo Sikoa Finally saw him live and in person, I guess you'd say. A lot of people chattering about that one, how he is a little bit smaller. It looks like he's smaller than an Uso. That is the first take. As we always say, you don't vote with your wallet. If you don't like the way that one looks, pass on it. Wait for a corrected one down the line. Best thing you can really do, but I know a lot of people have the FOMO. They're going to want that to complete their bloodline right off the bat. I get it, first time in the line. Should be the most popular one in this set, in all honesty there. So we did see Solo coming. We saw AJ Styles, good brother AJ Styles. Easy repaint there for AJ. We got him coming. Dakota Kai, unfortunately, out injured again, but we're getting her second Elite figure here. So we're getting Dakota Kai in the regular line. Drew McIntyre, got another guy, no stranger. One of the most toyetic figures ever with that big sword and kilt. It's just a shame you can't really change that figure up a lot. He doesn't really change his gear a whole lot. So we're just kind of going to get this one on a regular basis, consistent basis, we'll call it. It'll be interesting to see where Drew McIntyre goes in his WWE career. Is he going to leave? Is he going to stick around? Will this be his last Elite? I guess we'll have to stay tuned for that. Then we do get first time in the line, Braun Breaker, and I'm very excited about this one. First impression, we'll wait for our impression when we get him here at the table, but first impression, I like the regular version more than the Chase version, but we're getting a 2-for-1 on the old Braun Breaker, getting 2 figures in his first ever series. So how about that one? Another first timer in the line coming with the NXT title as well. And then one we did not see there live in person was Rick Steiner, and we kind of did a little, oh no, because a lot of people thought this figure was going to be canceled, and kind of first impression, like, okay, is Rick Steiner not coming out? Why are they not showing Rick Steiner? I don't know if they had the answer to that, but Ringside Collectibles did show Elite 104 in packaging samples today on Friday, and early word is they might be shipping out today, so look for those next week possibly here on the channel, but Elite 104 looks like Rick Steiner will be included, so it doesn't look like it got canceled or anything. Not sure why he wasn't shown with the rest of Elite 104, but he was not shown over there. Now, we also got the debut of Legends Greatest Hits, and as we always talk about these Greatest Hits lines, we go back and forth on them. They are great for new collectors, people that missed out. I totally understand the reasoning for this line. As we say all the time on the channel, Mattel wants all of your money. Every penny you have in your wallet, every penny you have in the bank, they want that from you if they can. Older figures, 10, 12 years has passed, whatever it's been, you know, they say, hey, we need to get these iconic looks of past superstars back out to the masses. We need some of that money. It makes sense. It's a business at the end of the day. But of course, there's people that have been there for the long haul, like, I'd rather have a fresh face or a fresh something different. So that's exactly kind of the yin and yang of that one here. But we did see Legends Greatest Hits Series 1, apparently. Now, I've talked about this before. To me, and they did a little bit of that here, and we'll talk about it, but I get re-releasing some of these iconic ones. But outside of the pinless elbows, that is a difference. Let's do something a little bit different. Do something small. Maybe it's a new total body sculpt or new trunks color. Something to make it feel different, to give us a little bit of a, hey, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being a longtime fan. I mean, they don't have to do that, and clearly they're not doing that all the time. But they are in a little instances, and we'll call those out here in a second. Of course, all of these will have, of course, the updated articulation, the pinless joints, things like that. We did talk about that. So that is an upgrade. I am here for that. But we did see the Warrior America, of course, 4th of July weekend. Perfect time for this one. And this one kind of fits the theme of some of these re-releases, as prior, this was a Walmart flashback exclusive back in the day. So we're getting an updated Warrior here. You know me, I'm never going to turn a Warrior figure down. And then we get in the same set. Are they trying to give me a simultaneous stroke and a heart attack? Putting a Terry Funk in that set? Oh my gosh, Terry Funk and Ultimate Warrior in the same wave. Possibly the greatest wave of all time. Terry Funk's birthday, of course. But we're getting a re-release of his regular Elite back in the day. Hopefully a little bit more bells and whistles, some stuff like that. We'll see what happens with that one. No doubt about it, I'm buying a Terry Funk figure. Just absolutely amazing to get both of those in the same set there. I'm here for that all day long, as you guys know. But I do hear we're going to get a lot more Terry Funks, as Terry Funk did just recently re-sign his Legends agreement deal or whatever. I got to think we could see some other Terry Funks fairly soon, so we'll have to stay tuned to San Diego Comic-Con. But you know me, bring in all the Terry Funks, especially for his birthday. Now, Terry Funk is a perfect example of what I would like to see out of the Greatest Hits line. You get a Terry Funk figure, hasn't been there forever, but change it up. Change the candy stripe pants, tights, change it to the black and yellow instead of the red and black. Mix it up. It's still the same figure, just a little bit of a different. Makes everybody happy at the end of the day. I wish they would do things like that. unfortunately not in the cards here for this Terry Funk. We did see the British Bulldog, an early Legends release, short-haired Bulldog, getting a lot of Bulldog figures as of late, so there's another one there for people that missed it back in the day. Honky Tonk Man, the GameStop Retro Fest exclusive way back in the day, 3-4 years ago. Definitely an iconic Honky Tonk Man figure. Probably my favorite Honky Tonk Man jumpsuit of all time. And this makes sense getting re-released around the same time as the Greg the Hammer Valentine Legends is coming. People are going to be able to complete their Rhythm of Blues really quick. So a lot of people have to be happy about this Honky Tonk Man. My thing that I'm going to do with this one, I have my old one, of course, displayed with his jumpsuit on. I'll display this one without the jumpsuit, make him feel totally different. So that does work for my collecting as well. And then we got Bruno Sammartino kind of coming out of left field there. That's an old timer from back in the day in the 70s, I guess, late 60s, 70s. Now, we've had Elite figure of him in the past, and that's what this one is. It's kind of an updated version of that. But what I like they did here is they give him new colored trunks. So instead of the blue trunks, I think he's got like a greenish color trunk now. That's what I want to see out of the Greatest Hits line. So I could sign up for that one all day long. So that looks good. Legends Greatest Hits 1, going to be a very popular set. We'll see where that goes distribution-wise, all kinds of stuff like that. But a very good-looking set right there. Then we got the next wave of Greatest Hits, and this one had been rumored for a while, and now I guess it is confirmed. And we found out what kind of depictions, what kind of eras some of these figures are. We did get Bray Wyatt, which I'm okay with this one too. It feels like a new Bray Wyatt. It is from that deleted, no pun intended, Epic Moments 2-pack that was supposed to come with Matt Hardy. I think it wasn't going to come with the lawnmower, I think, at the time. I believe that is the case. But we're getting that Bray Wyatt, a few little changes to it, but we're getting that back out into circulation that never went into circulation. So I'm here for that. Have no problems with that one coming out. Now we're getting Roddy Piper and the Scorpion King, both Walmart exclusives for the Hollywood Elite line. Now the Scorpion King really only went to Canada. Didn't come down to America. You guys remember me tracking that down and unboxing it on the channel. A bit of a pain there. Roddy Piper, a little easier to get. He at least hit the stores in America. Just a little bit harder to get at the end of the day. Now, I have no problems with these getting released, especially the Scorpion King. I have no issues with that one. It didn't hit America at all, so we need to get that everywhere around the world instead of just Canada. Roddy Piper got out there for a while. If you go to a Dollar General right now, there's a lot of Dollar Generals that actually have this Roddy Piper on the shelf right now. Yes, we get the updated joints on these, so there is going to be some difference. But I'm okay with this being re-released, but I wish it was like 5 sets down the line. I feel like it's just too soon. It's only been a year or so since those were already out. Let's freshen it up. Let's put some time in between. Let's let new collectors come on board. Things like that. So it just seems like kind of a little rush to market there. Maybe that's just me. And of course, if you really wanted those and didn't get them, you're probably very happy about that one. And I'm not against it. I just wish some more time had passed between the re-release of these. Same thing goes for Brutus the Barber Beefcake, who was a Target exclusive. He was basically an online exclusive like DDP in the last Greatest Hits wave. So we remember that. So it makes sense once again. Just wish there was a little bit more time in between that one. Shield Seth Rollins, an iconic early edition of Seth Rollins there. This one feels okay because there's been time in between this one's release. It wasn't just a year ago. This is like 5 years ago, this one. So I get that as well, but we were all wondering what era of Seth Rollins were we going to get. Well, it is Shield era Seth Rollins. This one's a little bit surprising to me, but it is an early R-Truth. I don't know, with the more recent R-Truth in the Elite line, I don't know if anybody was really clamoring back for the R-Truth that was smoking a cigarette feuding with Cena back in the day. I don't know, maybe people are, but a little bit of a head scratcher here, but it's all right. It makes sense, and it fits kind of that dynamic of a figure that was released like 8 years ago, getting a chance to come back for new collectors. And then another one, the Natural Disasters, Typhoon, Earthquake, all-time legends right there. Very cool to get these two back out here. Of course, this was a Walmart exclusive back in the day. So people that missed out can get two of those legends back in their collection. So interesting Greatest Hits line there. We also saw this week, and they did show them off in the UK this week as well, Stone Cold Steve Austin Ultimate Warrior Ultimate Edition re-releases. Now, we talked about this about 2 months ago on the channel, and a lot of people were surprised. I'm like, oh, the viewers that watch the old toy news, they knew all about this before a lot of people, because Entertainment Earth dropped this on a pre-order page, then pulled it back, so we knew it was coming months ago. But the Ultimate Warrior and Austin are back out there. I think I'm going to have to pick both of these up because they both got apparently new torsos and the pinless joints, so they are different figures. So I'm going to have to pick both of those up. Going to have to figure out what to do. Maybe mosey on over to Ringside Collectibles, use discount code Kyle, save myself 10%. We'll see what happens there, but I'm here for more Warriors. You don't got to tug my arms too hard to get me to buy another Ultimate Warrior figure, but now I'm going to have like 4 of these probably on display, counting the ones I already have with the different heads, one with the duster, one without the duster. Oh, it gets complicated, but I'm here for that. We also saw a few other figures. We saw Virgil, which was very highly rumored there. Very cool in his candy striped pants, like a young Terry Funk. Virgil, that big old solo push he had back in the day. We all remember that. Beth Phoenix, a more modern era from the Royal Rumble, of course. Was it a year ago? Or not even a year ago, I think, at this point. But we're getting Beth Phoenix from the Royal Rumble. A flashback Batista figure. Everybody loves old Dave Batista. And then the British Bulldog, once again. I said we've been getting a lot of Bulldogs lately. We're getting another one there in the old jeans. We just got that basic about a year ago. Now we're getting the Elite version. I guess I'll retire my basic figure is what I'm going to need to do. But that was shown all there. So that was quite the showing over there in the UK. Those UK fans getting spoiled with those kind of things. Why can't I ever get something like that in my neck of the woods? I always got to travel, 10 hours or 20 hours or something to see things like that. But very cool for the UK fan base out there. Very, very cool to see some new stuff. Anytime we see new wrestling figure stuff, I'm involved. I'm here for it. But gotta give a shout out to J25 Photography for sending me some of those pictures from the boots on the ground over there in the UK. So thanks for sending those along. A lot of pictures out there, of course, of that event. Now we gotta turn our attention to our old friend, Rob Halford.
Message from Rob Halford of Judas Priest.
Step on the red, cross on the green, never take a ride in a stranger's machine, and always make sure you're burning on turbo power.
And you know what? The metal god, Rob Halford, is very rarely wrong. And we're going to talk more Rob Halford later on in this video. But Rob Halford, very rarely wrong. I don't want to take a ride in a stranger's machine ever. And that's kind of how I feel like I am with Rush Collectibles in some way. We've talked about them a lot on the channel over the last year or so. We're still waiting for Series 1 to arrive, but they have announced Series 2. So one of those weird things where it's like, I really want to see how Series 1 is before I put my money over for Series 2. And we'll see. We'll unbox those on the channel when the time does finally come. And of course, we'll do a lot of comparisons of that. But this week, they did announce Series 2. We talked about Mil Muertes last week. They did announce Joel Gertner. Oh boy, there's a big ECW legend right there. We did see Chris Harris and James Storm. We're going to get single releases and chases as America's Most Wanted. Not sure what to think about that lineup right there. An interesting one. I'm not against it, Joel Gertner. I'm not against really any of these. I just want to see the quality. I want to see how Series 1 goes before I think about Series 2. And we know these retro games is a very tough game. We're seeing people fall. We're seeing a lot of people waning in their fandom of retro figures. It's just getting to the point where we talked about with our New Year predictions here on the channel about 6 months ago, where he said, I don't think all these retro companies are going to last. I don't think they're all going to stick it out. And we've already seen one fall this year. We'll see what happens with the rest. But we know Zombie's coming in. We'll talk about him in a second. We got Rush. We got Hastel Toys going on. Of course, the Mattel Retro line. We got Epic Wrestling Figures, the former Cella. We got them going. And then we got, Figures Something Wrestlers? Something like that. And we'll talk about those in weekly purchases tomorrow. So we got a lot of retro companies still out there. We'll see how it all ends up netting out and shaking out when things are all said and done. Now Zombie Sailor coming with a retro announcement. He's been talking about this for the last couple of weeks about a surprise character, a non-wrestler that's going to be in the Heels and Faces line. Well, he finally did announce that figure, and it is Bruce Lee. Yes, Bruce Lee. Worldwide phenomenon, Bruce Lee, of course. Now, I'm not opposed to Bruce Lee. I think there is some crossover there, but there is a lot of Bruce Lee figures. Let's be honest. Super 7 just announcing the Bruce Lee Super 7 Ultimates shipping now. So if you ordered that, you should have that in the next few weeks. There's been a lot of Bruce Lee figures. So it's not something new. It's not like a first time ever Bruce Lee figure, but it is the first time in a retro style figure. Now, I'm taking a little bit of that business step back. Of course, Zombie has done an amazing job. Everybody loved the first wave of his figures, but we've had so many figure announcements from Zombie Sailor. I mean, there's like 50 figures that are in the pipeline. Now, all of a sudden, Bruce Lee cuts everybody, jumps to that front of the line. And I don't know, are you steering away from your wrestling fan base? The people that brought you to the dance, the wrestling fandom, and now you're going over to Bruce Lee? Will that hurt anything there? Is there going to be some people saying, man, I really wanted that one-man gang, or I wanted that Mark Sterling figure, and now all of a sudden Bruce Lee's coming, kind of bumping some of that off to the side? I can see how some fan bases are like, you know what, it's taken forever to get my product. It's taken forever, and now Bruce Lee's here. I'm not into this. I mean, you guys tell me in the comments, are you sticking it out? Are you going to pick up Bruce Lee? Do you think that's a business move that should have been done right now? I'm not so sure. I think Bruce Lee will sell okay. There's Bruce Lee fans all over, not just wrestling fans, but everywhere that would buy this. This does get extra eyes on the Zombie Sailor brand, the Heels and Faces brand. So it is good, but we just need figures ramped up and out. We should have had Series 2 by now, as we do know. Apparently it's coming in July. We'll see what happens. But Zombie has said, he's been vocal about it on social media, that the wait times are going to be cut in half. He's already getting stuff ahead of time, and that's how all these companies should be. I don't care if we're talking Hastel Toys, Epic Toys, Figure Collections, whoever it is. Once you get a couple of series under your belt, you should kind of know, here's what my numbers are. Here's what I'm doing for my order quantities. Here's what the reception is. This is the bullet I'm playing with here. I got, give or take 50 extra or behind. This is kind of my number. You should be able to get some of these in production ahead of time and just shrink that wait window for the consumer out there. You should be able to do that. Sounds like Zombie Sailor is already well ahead on that. Sounds like Series 3 and beyond, you'll have like a 30-day window to order or something like that, and bam, 2 weeks later they're going to ship to you. I think that will be an absolute game changer for Zombie Sailor, and it'll shut up a lot of people that say, I'm sick of the waiting, and that is good business. But it just takes a while to get to that point for any company. I don't care if we're talking food company, we're talking anything, toys, whatever. That takes some time, and I think Zombie Sailor is getting there. That should really help things if all lines speak to that truth, and that's the way it's going to go. Now, the Rush Collectibles of the stuff, you're going to have people just bail out and say, I pre-ordered these a year ago. I'm done. They're showing me they're going to ship them a year and a half later. I'm not going through that rigmarole again, and you're going to lose customers. So it is definitely a tiptoe strategy. It's definitely not easy. Business isn't easy. If it was, everybody would do it. But it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. But the Zombie Bruce Lee going up for pre-order, I believe, next week. I feel like I'll probably end up pre-ordering that one. I'll be consistent on this, but I got to be honest. I would have rather had One Man Gang. I'd rather have a Mark Sterling. I'd rather have somebody wrestling than a non-wrestler. At least that's me. You guys tell me in the comments down below. Then we turn our attention to a little bit of retro kind of stuff. We're talking Big Rubber, guys. Remember, Demolition, July 3rd is the last day for pre-orders on that one. You know me, I'm a kid of the 80s. I grew up on the LJNs. The LJNs and the Hasbros were my playing days, so this is speaking right to my wheelhouse. I'm all in on these Big Rubber guys. Give me all the Big Rubber guys, but a lot of people are like, $50 for one of these? To me, breaking it down, a Big Rubber guy about this size, a Big Rubber guy, $50, or a retro that's like $60 shipped, I mean, it's just a no-brainer there. I think there is tremendous value here for this one. Beautiful packaging design, slipcase packaging, but it's just interesting. It just comes down to your fandoms. And I think a lot of people that are negative about the Big Rubber guys are maybe people that came on after that time. But if you were there in that magical window of LJN, these are hitting a home run for you. The only thing I don't like is the chase. I don't want to have to fight for a chase on all that. Maybe I'm lazy in my old age, I don't know. But I just like to be able to order the chase. But we'll see what happens. I'll track a chase down somehow, because I'm going to need one of each of the Axe and Smashes. I mean, that is face paint. Come on, you know I need those all day long. But the Big Rubber guys did announce next up after Demolition, we're getting Marty Jannetty. We're going to be rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling our way into the weekend, maybe, but we'll be rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling with Marty Jannetty in the Big Rubber guys. So I'm here for that. That's one of those guys that should have been made, and my guess is they're going to go in the LJN tradition of not completing a tag team, because I don't think there's any way they can get a Shawn Michaels Big Rubber guy, and that is unfortunate. But I guess Marty will join up with Axe and the Warlord from back in the day. And hopefully the second one that we're getting is Barbarian to go with that Warlord. I'd be here for that. But we'll see who the next announcement is. But the Marty Party hitting real soon to the Big Rubber guys, so stay tuned for that one if that is your kind of thing. So there you go. Now we turn our attention away from wrestling, as we got a few other notes on other toy lines. Yes, there's other toy lines out there. We did move over to Yo-Jo June. And you know what they say about the G.I. Joe Dragonfly? Jerry Reed is exactly right. We're at about 14,350, and we got about, 17 days to go. So we still got some time. We'll see what happens, but we still got a ways to go to hit that 16,000. Hopefully we at least hit that one. Not sure if 19,000 is even a possibility in this one here, unless it's some super name that everybody's going to want. We'll see what happens there. But the Dragonfly, it is funded. Will we get to 16,000? We'll have to see what happens there. But we weren't done with G.I. Joe news this week. Nuh-uh. We did see the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover with the Dreadnoks Thunder Machine Soundwave crossover. A little Transformers G.I. Joe Soundwave turns into the Thunder Machine. Just crazy. It's a line I don't collect, thankfully, there. You can't collect them all, but definitely love the Joe side of that one, and I don't mind the Transformers. You know me, I dabble in the Transformers, but we're getting that one there. Zarana and Zartan coming with that, so a lot of people are going to be excited about that one, so that is up for pre-order. But then we got the G.I. Joe figures, and we did get old Ralph. I'm just going to call him Ralph, but it is Nunchuck, one of the G.I. Joe Joe ninjas back in the day. He is an Amazon Hasbro Pulse exclusive, up for pre-order. One of the weaker offerings, I think, from the classified line so far. Maybe it's my childhood prejudices against Nunchuck, but the sneak peeks, Psych Out, Nunchucks of the world, and there's a couple other I have to sit and think about it, but those were my fodder. Usually how my G.I. Joe, my playing days, we all had our playing days, and I would have big battles and wars with my G.I. Joes when I was a kid. I would take days setting it up. Here's the different bases, here's the different teams, here's what's going on, and you'd have the flag as your center of your universe. And I would always have like Sneak Peek, Psych Out, Nunchuck, and a few other Joes on a team together. And Cobra would come in hot and just decimate that team. They'd kill all those guys, and there'd always be like a shipwreck or a roadblock. One of my A-plus players would be with that team, and he would always escape. And he'd get back to the flag and alert Flint, of course, the true leader of G.I. Joe, and Flint would say, okay, Hawk, Duke, here's what your marching orders are. That's what would happen when I was a kid. But guys like Nunchuck would always die right away. They would always be cannon fodder. So I'm not too excited about Nunchuck, but anytime I get to add a new Joe to my shelf, man, I'm here for it, because I still love a Joe, even if it's not my favorite Joe, and that's where Nunchuck kind of fits for me. It'll be interesting to see that figure in hand, but not one I'm super excited for, but I'm glad we're getting it, if that makes any sense. But we're also getting a Crimson Viper once again. Okay, I get what they're doing, repaint, and you got to have those repaints, re-releases, because that helps fund the new figures, the new molds, things like that. That's just Toys 101, as we always say. People are like, why are we getting this? Why can't we get this guy or Globulus or something? Well, you got to have those Crimson Vipers to help pay for things in the future. That's just the way it goes all the time. So I like this, and there is a lot of rumors going around that there's going to be a Crimson Twins and Baroness in kind of the Crimson Guard decor and the red decor. We've seen that before in the smaller Joes, and there's a lot of rumors around San Diego Comic-Con or maybe Hasbro PulseCon as an exclusive. We'll see if that ends up happening there, but it does kind of look like it's headed that way, I would imagine. And we also hear Chuckles is the other rumor. I think Chuckles is the San Diego Comic-Con rumor, and that makes sense. He's in his summertime Hawaiian shirts. He's ready to go. That makes sense. And then Hasbro PulseCon could be that 3-pack, and we'll stay tuned to that one. Maybe it'll be a little bit more clear at San Diego Comic-Con. We do know they're going to hand out the QR codes again like they did last year. But the other one we saw this week, and probably the most popular of the reveals this week, at least for me, was Firefly. Yes, we got a Firefly back in the old Cobra Island days. Now we get a more cartoon one, a cartoony-looking one. I don't know what you would call it, but more of what people think of when they think of Firefly. And we did just get a solicitation pre-order for the Mezco edition of Firefly a couple weeks back. So if you're a Firefly fan, man, the end of this year, beginning of next year, you're all about the Firefly at the end of the day. But that is a popular one, of course, sold out at a lot of places right away. And that makes a lot of sense there. So Yo-Jo June comes to an end. Quite the month of Yo-Jo June. We got the new Hiss Tank. We got all these announcements. We had Waylon Jennings' birthday, my birthday. We had, of course, Terry Funk's birthday. June, an exciting month. I shouldn't forget my wife's birthday in there. Father's Day, a lot of viewers' birthday, I'm sure. June birthdays. Man, is there a better month than June? And, of course, my birthday being June 25th, I always said at school, the old playground, I got the perfect birthday as it is exactly 6 months to Christmas. So every 6 months, man, I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating every 6 months. So that's kind of what was going on there. But Yo-Jo June coming to an end. We'll see what July brings us at San Diego Comic-Con, so stay tuned to that. Mutant Mayhem is quite the word on the streets. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course, those went up. The ban of selling those, they went up for sale on Target, on the website, in the stores on Sunday, June 25th, my birthday once again. And turtle stuff everywhere. Now, like I said, I did do an unboxing of the new 4 core figures this week on the channel. Check out that video if you're interested. I thought they were better than some of the other incarnations of Turtles, but they didn't knock my socks off like the 80s cartoon Turtles, and that's the way it's going to be. But what's cool about this is we haven't seen a release of action figures like this in quite some time. It almost brings you back to like the Power of the Force releases, things like that, where you just get tons and tons of product, and it feels like every time I go to a store, like say I go to this Target and then I go to this Target, I'm seeing something different. There's so many different toys, bikes, turtle vans, figures, 2-packs, single packs, deluxe figures, all kinds of merchandise. Just doesn't feel like we've had a release like that in quite some time. So there's something a little bit nostalgic about it, a little bit fun. Now I dabbled in those 4. I'm not sure if I'm going to go beyond that point, and we'll see. What is the movie going to be like? Is it going to be any good? Who knows? But we have to remember, time marches on, time waits for no one, this is going to be a whole new generations of Ninja Turtles. And I'm sure Popeye fans back in like the 30s were like, this is my Popeye. And then in the 60s, there was a new Popeye cartoon. What are they doing to Popeye? I can't believe what they're doing here. I'm sure it's a tale as old as time in any kind of fan base out there. This might not be my Turtles, but man, if there's little kids out there getting around this turtle, man, I'm here for that. Anything to get these kids playing with action figures, man, I'm here for that at the end of the day. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see. We might dabble in some more figures. We'll see how the movie does. But if you're interested in the core 4 Turtles, check out that review on the channel right there. Plus plenty of other reviews. I've had so much stuff come in. Patreon members have like 100 videos just in like the last 2 weeks I put up there. I have been working so hard getting these videos because I got travel. I have some business meetings. Like I said, this is the busiest time of year for me. I had to work some really late nights putting some videos together just to kind of stay ahead of things where I wanted to be. So there is tons of stuff. A ton of G.I. Joe videos, wrestling videos, you name it, a lot on the old Patreon channel. Now we continue on and we stay at Target. We're going to stay at Target for a little bit. We got Darth Vader and Commander Appo. We got those announced this week up for pre-order, Target exclusives. A cool Darth Vader with the broken mask. You can kind of see a little bit of young Vader behind there. It's a lot of reuse, and that's the name of the game, especially in these store exclusives, but definitely interesting enough. Not sure if I'm going to pre-order. I might play that long game, wait for them at the store, see how that goes, but definitely interesting. I like the looks of this Darth Vader. It definitely does feel evil, so I'm here for that. If you're for that, go over to Target. They are up for pre-order. Thundercats, how about a little Super 7? We'll talk a little bit of Super 7 at the end of this video as well, but we did see some Thundercats this week. We saw Chilla teased, an interesting one, an all-time favorite from the old Thundercats days. Is she being teased for an ultimate or a reaction? We're not sure. And kind of the same thing, we talked about it last week on the channel. We did see the Thundercats lair. They've been teasing that thing like crazy. Well, is it going to be the actual lair? Is it going to be a reaction lair, an ultimate lair? Is it going to be a sticker pack? We're not exactly sure as I'm filming this right now. I'm kind of leaning towards it being a reaction. Maybe San Diego Comic-Con will be the announcement. I'm not exactly sure. But it's going to be a lot of money if it's a full-on Ultimates lair. But I'm not against it. I'm not against it. But we'll see what happens. Marvel Legends this week. We did just have a little bit of an announcement. We had Blur and Nighthawk 2-pack from the Squadron Supreme. Trying to finish off that team. I like what the Marvel team's doing with that one. After that, they did say pretty much no announcements, no anything until San Diego Comic-Con. So we'll stay tuned for that here in the next couple of weeks. Jada Toys with the Entertainment Earth exclusive Boo Berry. We saw Boo Berry about a year ago. Now we're getting him. He is glow in the dark. He is an Entertainment Earth exclusive. I'm picking that up all day long. Very cool. About $20 over on Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% on in-stock items. Anything over $59 does ship free over there at Entertainment Earth, as you guys know. Let's see some McFarlane toys. Todd McFarlane, he can't go a day go by without announcing some McFarlane toys, but we did see a classic Superman, basically Action Comics #1, whatever you want to call it, but a definite throwback Superman figure, and it's one of those figures I never felt I really wanted until now. And then we also saw the Alan Scott Green Lantern. I'm here for this idea. I like the idea of these original heroes and kind of their original looks as like a one little team display. I think that would look really cool to get kind of maybe the original Justice League and their throwback looks. I think I'd be here for that. But we did see that Alan Scott. We did see Superman. Got to think those ones are going to sell very well. So those are coming from McFarlane. And then back to Entertainment Earth. Once again, discount code Kyle, as I always say. We did see a black and white Spawn on his throne. Now we got this and we reviewed that on the channel 6 months ago. What is time, as we do say. But it's a black and white edition. There was a more expensive edition with the autograph, one without. You can get that, of course, at San Diego Comic-Con, or Entertainment Earth had the pre-order. The autograph edition sold out right away. The other one, as of filming, was still up if you're into that kind of thing. I don't know if I'm going to pick that one up. I guess that'll be a San Diego Comic-Con game time decision if I want to do that. I just don't know if I need 2 thrones in my collection in black and white. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Then one that was interesting, and it's funny how not a lot of people, I think, pay attention. And that's one of those things, you always got to take that business step back, but you also got to remember not everybody is into it as you are, Kyle, or you, Joe, or Johnny, or you, David, whoever it may be out there. Maybe they're not as into things as you are, and you got to remember that. And that could go for anything in life, but so many people are like, I can't believe NECA is making dinosaurs figures. Well, if people remember, last year at San Diego Comic-Con, they showed off all of these, and they said they were coming. Well, here we are almost a year later. They're finally soliciting these for sale come October, fall time frame. But it's just amazing to me that, you know, not everybody thinks of things like I do. And you always got to take that step back, and that's everything. Not everybody has, like at work. Like at work's a perfect example. I'm working 24/7. I can't believe it. People actually want to take their weekends off. They don't want to have to get ahead and get on going on work. I just believe it. I can't believe it. Just shocker to me. Shouldn't be. I think I'm the one with the problem. I'm the one with the problem. But NECA Dinosaurs coming. Very exciting. Now, I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. Of course, old TGIF, all that kind of fun stuff. I think Dinosaurs was on Tuesdays, maybe. Something like that. I think it was like back-to-back with Roseanne or something, if I remember right. I don't know. But I loved the Dinosaur show when I was a kid. I remember San Diego Comic-Con, like, man, these look really cool. These are very nostalgic, but I don't know if they're for me. And I still kind of feel that way. I really do want these. Earl Sinclair and the baby Sinclair, they look really good. And I'm just like, where am I going to put these? I just don't know. So I'm on the fence right now. We'll see what happens, but I really, really do like the looks of these. So we'll see. I have a feeling I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to see them and I'm going to say, oh, I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to have to do this because they just look really, really good. And we'll see those, I'm sure, at San Diego Comic-Con once again here in a couple of weeks. It's kind of a theme of this episode right here. And then we're going to finish it off with a little business talk, a little Super 7 talk here. Now, Super 7 made a lot of news in the old circles this week as they did cancel the Tiger Zord and Madame Woe from the upcoming Super 7 Ultimate Power Ranger line. Now, the White Tiger or the White Ranger is still coming. The Tiger Zord is canceled. Madame Woe is canceled. A lot of people are like, is Super 7 falling apart? Are they closing their doors? I don't think that's the case there, but we have seen a lot of cancellations from Super 7, and we all got to admit to ourselves, the pandemic buying is over. People don't have all the extra income they had during the pandemic for whatever reason. There's all kinds of reasons. So people aren't putting a lot of that money towards action figures like they used to. They're putting it for food, gas, house payments, whatever it may be. Now, unfortunately, these got canceled, and people are saying, Super 7, how dare they do that? They should have made them. Well, why would you ever tell a business, hey, they couldn't meet the minimum order requirements, the MOQ, they couldn't meet it, so why would they make it? If they couldn't get enough people wanting to buy their stuff, why would they lose money? Would you lose money in your household finances on purpose? You wouldn't. None of us would, and we shouldn't ask Super 7, hey, you need to lose a bunch of money on this. We know Super 7's plan, they take your money, it takes a year, we get all that kind of stuff, but it takes some time, I think, for the Entertainment Earths to officially get their order in. Big Bad Toy Stores, all these toy stores, all that kind of stuff all over the country. It takes a while to funnel all those results. You put them all into a big thing, pot together. Okay, here's our order of quantities we got in. Oh my gosh, we're 1,000 units short or whatever. Now, if they're 5 units short, I'm sure they're going to make it. But if they're way off, and that's my guess with these, they're way off, they're not going to pull the trigger. It's just not going to happen. We'd all do the same thing if it was our money. I guarantee it. No company out there is looking to lose money. It's not a nonprofit. I remember one time back in the day, one of the older guys, he was an old manager, but just awesome. And we always have those mentors in our work life. And those old guys that have been there forever, or girls, I guess, it doesn't matter. But they've been there forever. They've seen it all. They've done it all. They've been in every single situation. And I'll never forget this guy one time telling me this company called him, hey, we're looking for this donation on all this bread, I think it was, like buns or something, let's call it. We're looking for that. And then they'd say, well, we're a nonprofit. And his answer back would always be, well, we're trying not to be a nonprofit. We just can't be donating. I mean, you know, all these food companies, they would donate millions and millions of dollars of food every year, but every single day you got somebody, can you donate this, and you just can't do everything as much as you'd like to. But it's just kind of the way of business. But funny stories like that I always love of the old. And now it's tough that you get older, and I'm not even that old. It's crazy. I'm still the young guy at work, but I've been around the industry for like 30 years. Can you believe this? I started working when I was 12 years old. 14 was my first regular job, but 12 was when I had my first job. Just ridiculous. Child labor laws, where are they? And I've never been unemployed in that time. And I've barely had a week of vacation in that time either. But you know, here we are about 30 years, just celebrating 29 years in the industry I'm in. So just where does time go? But it's funny that a lot of the younger guys looking up to me like I have all the answers. And I do have all the answers. Of course I do. You got to fake it till you make it at least. But it's just wild. And here we are reminiscing about life here in the toy news video. I could go on, but that's for another video or another day, something like that. But Super 7 Rangers, if that's your thing, shout out, pour one out for that old outlaw Waylon Jennings, friend of the channel. He's pretty disappointed about this Ranger news. But we'll move on. We'll live. We'll live at the end of the day. But now we're going to finish this up with the album of the week. Got to finish with album of the week. And I didn't realize it was the 15th anniversary of this album here. And I remember it's a very polarizing album. What is it? It is my boy Rob Halford and Judas Priest. It is the album Nostradamus. Now, this was the follow-up to their reunion album. This one didn't go off so well. It was a concept album. And I remember being a little puzzled by it when I first listened to it, but it was like an awesome heavy metal song, and then like a little like instrumental in between. Then you go to another metal song, an instrumental, and it just didn't flow right. It's almost like if they took kind of that story and kind of that hubbub out, could have had one awesome solid album. And I actually listened to it this week for the first time in probably 12 years, maybe, who knows. And I forgot how much I like some of those songs, like the Nostradamus song itself. An all-time great. I'm going to say it's an underrated album, and if you're a Priest fan, it's probably one you haven't listened to in a long time, but in honor of the 15th anniversary, give it a spin, give it a listen, see what it is, see what all the fuss is about. So there it is, there's Album of the Week, Nostradamus by Judas Priest. So now, you know what I'm doing. I'm moving into the weekend, but before I do that, what do you guys think of the toy news here? Anything that wetted your whistle? Anything you got interested in with the news this week? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. Check out the Patreon channel. As I said, we got tons of stuff over there, and it truly is your best way to support this very YouTube channel. You can also support the channel at Pro Wrestling Tees. This weekend is the weekend. If you're buying on Pro Wrestling Tees, save yourself 20%. Got to get the deal over there. And, of course, that does support the channel as well. And then hit me up, follow along on social media. SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. Now I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way into a 4th of July weekend. I'll see you guys all real soon.